What's up, everybody? Welcome to another race analysis. Today we are at Winston, Salem Fairgrounds. This is the Cat 3-4 race, and we will quickly jump into the race stats. Riding along with myself today, Jared. FTP is 283. That is 3.9 watts per kg. Weighing in at 160. Race age is 33. Moving along. Here are the race stats. Just under 45 minutes, 19.5 distance miles. Average speed is 26. Normalized power is 281. Average power, 231. So quite a big difference right there between normalized and average power. We will shortly see why that is the case, but it's nothing spectacular, nothing crazy though. And we are jumping right into this thing, everybody. Like I said before, this is the 3-4 race. Before this one was the 4-5 field, and a lot of these riders, especially on a Tuesday night, double dip and do 2 races in a row to get their money's worth. And that's what a lot of our teammates did as well. I think we had six or seven Newtype riders in this race, but 4 of them had already done 1 race. The only fresh legs on Newtype are going to be myself, Jake, and Bryce, and we'll point them out whenever we see them. But yeah, this was super fun. Speed Week was during this whole recording process, and we couldn't make the events that were like down in Southwest Georgia, so we decided to get a lot of the guys together and come up to Winston-Salem to do a more local race and kind of really see how we could, to be honest, kind of like manhandle or like dictate the flow of a race with having a lot of bodies and a larger number. Because when we've been doing Speed Week, the 2-3 competition that Bryce and I, Jake and I, Nick are all having to do is really competitive right now. And so it's kind of refreshing and a little bit of a morale booster from time to time to come up and do a local race and kind of, be able to dictate the pace. But more of that, let's get into the racing. This gentleman right here in the pink, I got some beta from another rider at the beginning of the race that this young guy was super motivated to attack maybe every lap and maybe go off on a break. So I just kind of found his wheel coming into the second lap, and I'll just follow him. And sure enough, Spidey sense, the beta was right, man. He wanted to go, and so he pulled off to the right, and I said, see you. He stood up out of the saddle, and I thought he was going to kind of sit back down, so I snapped one. Catch him and the field off guard with just carrying a little bit more momentum through that. And now we're off to the races. 3 minutes in, and I'm ready to, let it all hang out for this possible breakaway. But as you guys know, it's way too early. Everyone's legs are too fresh. A few minutes later, I get caught on this thing. But yeah, it's going to be like this the entire race. It's going to be attacks after attacks from us. So if you guys enjoy the content, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel, and it doesn't cost you anything. So skipping ahead just a few minutes where I get caught. And now I'm back kind of just on the sharp end. This gentleman right here just rolls off to the front a little bit, and then you see Bryce on my right kind of move up and just ramp and start rolling the pace right here. Unfortunately, with Bryce being such a tall target early on in this race, like, people are going to react to him and make sure he's not going to get away and stay on that wheel. So that's exactly what the field does, is they counter him and just catch that and shut that down. But it's super nice. Oh, here's Jake right here on my right. He's the third set of fresh legs that we have for Newtype. And then you'll see some other guys trickled in and some new faces as well. So you're super excited to ride with all the team and hopefully show and coach up and just kind of like get more of a race feel and some team tactics going with some unfamiliar faces. All right, everybody, skipping ahead just at 9 minutes in. And if you look way on the left, oh, it's kind of out of screen now, but we have a younger rider, her name is Zoe. She is off the front. She put in a sneaky little attack that all the other guys in the group didn't want anything to do with. And I kind of see her way in the distance. Teammate Michael's rolling on the front right now, and so I ramp up speed, sprint past him and the rest of the group, and now I have a teammate on the front. What are they going to do? Hopefully they're going to set a soft tempo for me and kind of let me go chase down Zoe. And that's exactly what we're doing right here. She had a pretty good gap on us. Really cool to see. She does all the races in the southeast area. I've seen her at some cross races, a bunch of crit and road races. I wouldn't be surprised if she does mountain bike as well. Really motivated. She is, I wouldn't be surprised next year she has like a huge breakout year. Every race I see her at, she is up there contending, trying to be in moves. It's really cool to see. Well, I finally catch up to her. I kind of keep the momentum going, and I pull on through. But if you check the rear cam, we have people trying to ruin the party. Just like the first attack I did, it's too early. People aren't going to let this thing go, and we get brought back. 18 minutes in, and Bryce and Jake are on the front right now, and Bryce just starts rolling off and gapping the field right here. Nothing crazy, nothing sneaky. I don't even know if he had to put out a lot of power, and Jake just slowly sets up, and watch the speed I carry through this turn in the speed differential because Jake sets up. I just come past like 6 or 7 wheels right here because Jake is just doing the blocking thing, doing the team tactics, and no one comes around him, which I was super surprised about. Here we go, we got the red team. Our buddy Shannon right there in the all red, all Trek kit, and he knows Bryce. He knows they can't let that go, and here comes the speed, the ramp up, the chase is on. I catch a wheel right here, and I'm gonna get a free ride. But it was really fun to kind of be able to like dictate the pace, dictate the intensity, control all the attacks. When we all the competition that we've been racing stuff in the regional races is just super cutthroat. You're fighting for every wheel, every corner. The intensity is really high, and then coming and doing one of these local races, the atmosphere is way different. I don't know if like bullying is the right word, because definitely I'm not trying to be a bully, or we're not trying to be a bully, but like it is way easier to like if you need that wheel in front of you, it's easier to take it and to like establish a position than at a harder 2-3 race where they catch Bryce, they keep on his wheel, and I just keep my momentum, snap another attack off right here. I would say it's probably a really perfect counterattack, and now here I am. A couple minutes before, I was in the same position. This is my third one of the day. If you can't tell, I want to do a breakaway. You know, I can't do one at Ore Road, but I'm trying to do one at the Fairgrounds. 20 minutes in, I've still got a long way to go in this 40-minute trip. Unfortunately, I get popped. But good news, I was away for like 3.5 laps until they finally caught me. So I was feeling pretty good about that. Just the group got organized, and they weren't just going to let me go that soon in the race. Skipped ahead, 28 minutes in. There is one rider off the front, and Bryce comes on the right here to start chasing. Nothing crazy, not like a super snappy attack by any means, but when the tractor starts getting going, man, it's hard to stop that thing. And so the speed just ramps up super fast, and the field just gets strung out automatically. And so with all the Newtype riders in just a bunch of different leapfrog positions throughout this field, it's really easy to get organized, line something up. If you're done pulling, you just literally flick an elbow, and the majority of the time you've got a Newtype rider with you. And that's kind of exactly what happens here. A little bit hard to see, but we have our teammate Michael, who did really well in the 4-5 race. We'll comment on that at the end of the video. He's up there, way up here on the left. Kind of hard to see him. And he's rolling away with a rider. And what does Bryce do? he's on the front, sets a false tempo. If people want to come around him, they will. Now we're getting a reaction right here on the left from this guy in the high-vis pink kit, and the group's reacting to it. They're not going to let those two get away. Ramp up the speed, make sure I'm on a good wheel. Right here in this part of the course was a tailwind. It was super fast. And then when you come around to the backside in the chicane, it was a headwind. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was definitely, you could definitely feel it, and you had to put out at least like 75 more watts when you're on the front, 200 more watts. All right, we are reeling in Michael and those couple riders that are on the flyer. I keep my momentum up through this chicane. Love this chicane, it's super fun. Super wide, you can just kind of rip it. It's a perfect little turn. Slot in, gain a couple positions. And if you notice, I'm like sitting fourth, fifth wheel right here, and there's no Newtype riders on the front right there. They're not. We're letting all these other guys, all these other smaller teams, individual riders, pull this thing back. And then in doing so, when they do catch Michael, the two riders that he was with kind of kept going. They're smaller riders, and I noticed this, and I immediately just snap another one off. Here goes my fourth attack for the day. And I'm like, okay, this could be it. 30 minutes in, I'm feeling good. Let's get up to these two guys, and let's have a go at it. And it's these two junior riders, or younger riders. They're a lot smaller. I weigh 160, and these kids soaking wet are probably like $130. But they are super motivated, super competitive. That's why they're out here on a breakaway or on a flyer right now. I carry a ton of speed to catch up to them, and I'm here. Let's party. Let's have a good time. And so one thing I noticed is they immediately start kind of looking around, and I felt like they were kind of unsure of like what to do, or maybe when to pull off, or like when they were done with their pull. So I kind of sensed this a little bit, and you'll see here. This is probably the best part here, where keeping his head straight, and then he starts looking back, and I'm like, okay, he must be done. And so I kind of punch it through the turn right here, and I really wanted to mess with him. I wanted to try and drop him right here to blow him off my wheel. And so I ramp it up on this headwind section. It's really tough. You can see I have a pretty clear gap on him, probably 7 to 8 bike lengths at least. Carry my speed through the chicane, but they do a great job of like grinding it out, getting back up to me. And then after that, we do stay together, and we start rotating relatively smoothly. Unfortunately, they're just smaller guys, and it's not their fault. They're just smaller, and it was a lot harder for them to keep like a 28 mile an hour pace, and that's really what we needed to stay away. Sure enough, we get reabsorbed with the group, and we're all reset. All right, we are coming down toward the end of this thing. We are 34 minutes in, and my boy Bryce goes. I'm kind of back in the field right now, kind of recovering, because we were out there on the front for a little bit, and it's prime time. We're getting down towards the very end of the race right here. I think we're coming up on like 8 to go. You can see the speed ramping up, and this is where Bryce attacks. It's hard to see on the front right now, but Jake is up there with him, and our other teammate, Jeremy. We got it strung out right here, and this is like a perfect scenario in my opinion. I'm just kind of sitting back here and just kind of like watching this whole thing play out. And Jeremy does the perfect move. He just lets Bryce roll off the front just like a couple minutes ago, and no one wants to come around Jeremy. They're all tired. They've all been chasing us the entire night. And this is where Bryce establishes. So he's got a huge gap on the left corner right there. It's still getting strung out. But this is where Bryce establishes his gap, and he is going to stay away for the next 7 laps. He is going to stay away. We're not going to reel him in. What was pretty interesting about this is the team didn't really even have to like set a false tempo in the front or like block per se. The field really did it for us. There was a couple people who tried to bring Bryce back, but they just would let them hang out there for too long and like burn themselves up. So Bryce is still out there on the front. We're coming to, I think we're at 2.5 laps to go right here, 41 minutes in. I'm on my boy Jake's wheel. It's a good place to be right here. Check out the right corner right there. Boom, this kid in the yellow just like tries to take the grass, and to avoid like crashing out some guys, he like turns his bike really fast and like unclips in the process. Feel free to rewind that and check that out if you didn't catch that. But no harm, no foul. Everyone stays up. Nothing happened. All right, now we are rolling up the speed, ramping this thing up, and it's like perfect. So Jake's moving to the front to keep the pace high because we know Bryce has a big enough lead. And check on my left right here. My dog Michael comes around the perfect timing, coming to 2 to go, and we're like sitting pretty right here. I tell him, hey, stay on Red's wheel and fight for that thing. That's where I want you to be. I'll be on your wheel. And check out a little bit of touch of elbows, a little bit of leaning. This kid right here on the right was the one that just kind of almost crashed out and like unclipped on the previous lap. So I don't know. He was feeling it. He was feeling like he needed to protect that position. Unfortunately, our buddy Michael's got like 30 pounds on you. You're probably not going to move him very much. So Michael does a phenomenal job. This is Michael's second crit ever. Super excited for him. This course was like perfect for him. He has a diesel of a motor. He can just roll some coal. I make sure I stay on his wheel right here as we come around Shannon in the red, and I'm just yelling at Michael. I was like, hey man, I was like, right here, this is where we need to be. Jake's done a great job keeping the pace high. His job is done. Perfect effort right there for the team. And Michael is just rolling it right here. We're running 28, 30 miles through this thing. I'm trying to protect the inside, but luckily the pace is fast enough right here where no one's coming around me. I'm checking my shoulder. I'm yelling at him, hey, let's go, get out of the saddle. All you got, come on, let's do this. 30 miles an hour. Bryce is gone. He's off the front. He's got first locked in, and I'm here trying to wrap up the podium. Snap off my sprint early. I was really, really worried about getting swarmed right here, so I went a little early. But if you look, as soon as the glare goes away in the sun, the rear cam, we've got a gap pretty good. I do have one rider on my wheel. He was in great position. I give it all I have right here. There's a back marker right in front of us. We don't want to hit him. My God, we both almost obliterate that kid. And boom, I got beat right at the line. That lap rider was like in the worst freaking position on the final lap. It always seems to happen like that for some reason at some of these local crits. But either way, here's a photo of Michael's 4-5 podium. He got second. He literally pulled the entire field the last lap and got second. What a savage. And here's the 3-4 podium. Bryce getting first, myself getting third. Super fun. It's always great to come to some of these local stuff and have a really good showing. We were really excited to be able to like see what we had. Unfortunately, I was thinking some of the other teams were going to have some more bodies and some of their stronger riders out. That wasn't the case. We do plan on coming back up to Herbalife Criterium in a couple weeks, so I'll be sure to like make sure those guys know we're coming so we can have a fun battle. Other than that, everybody, thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one.